Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition, a Thursday edition of PodUp Matthews in the Morning, coming to you from the International Diamond Center Studios. Locations across the state of Florida, right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check them out, International Diamond Center. Today we'll have JC in the second portion of today's program, Win with JC. But right now we're going to go to our college football analyst, the Heisman Trophy voter, Brent Beaird. Good morning, Brent. How you doing?
Morning, Shane. Good to be with you as we are ending the meetings for the SEC in Destin, and may I add, very, very pleased to have the first of about a handful of preseason magazines already on the shelf. How about that?
Yeah, before we jump into the SEC, a lot of stuff going on in Destin. Athlons has come out. I think you've already gotten your copy.
Yes.
Who they have their rankings, and not only nationally but in the SEC. Yeah,
glad to be able to do that. Athlon is the first one out this year. We will still have other magazines that will be out. Lindy should be out this weekend. Phil Steele is going to be out too. In the Sporting News, which is a preseason magazine we haven't seen in a while, will also be out. Your top 10, I'll give you that real quick. Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, Notre Dame, and Indiana is your top 5. Only one SEC team in there. And from 6 to 10 is Oregon, Miami is 7, Oklahoma is 8, A&M is 9, and LSU is number 10. Obviously, with the new coaching staff. Ole Miss, ironically enough, is number 11. Texas Tech, 12. Michigan, 13. Southern Cal, 14. Alabama is 15. Then you've got BYU, Washington, Penn State, Houston, and Utah. So that is your top 20, according to Athlon with that. Any real surprises in there, Shane?
I mean, it's so honestly, I don't know. I don't know what to think. I mean, it's pretty much the same among all these publications, I would guess.
Yeah.
Are you surprised at their predictions of the SEC at all?
Some. I mean, obviously with Georgia number 2, Texas number 3. That's kind of what you've heard before the magazines came out. A little bit surprised with LSU at number 10. Now, what you hear from LSU beat writers is they aren't ready to be a top 10 team. They will probably be outside the top 10. They're a good team, but they haven't really come together yet, as they will in the next few years. Bama at 15, some people think that's a bit low. That may be a higher. By the way, Tennessee is 21. Tennessee without a proven quarterback, and obviously we know they've got some new defensive coaches in there that can make a big difference with this too. So, but that's the fun of the magazine, Shane. Frankly, is you have a lot of debate about it with that also. So, Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, A&M, and LSU, your top 5 from Athlon for the SEC.
Yeah, and they predict Georgia to win the SEC with Texas at 2nd. They got the Gators in here at 9th. Does that surprise you at all?
No, it doesn't. And they can be much better than that. I think Florida can be better than Tennessee. Frankly, now Ole Miss is 6. And then as we know, LSU and Ole Miss get together in September at Ole Miss. So that is one of the games that people are looking forward to. So, as we said, and by the way, we haven't touched on the ACC. Miami predicted to win the ACC. SMU 2, Louisville 3, Clemson 4, and Virginia Tech 5 is what we've got so far in the ACC.
Yeah, and they picked Florida State to be 11th, which I'm not surprised.
Yes.
I don't think they're going to be very good this year. The total revenue for the Power Four conferences, obviously the Big Ten made the most money, but is that due to having more teams?
It very well possibly could. What Shane's talking about is the Big Ten is $1.4 billion. SEC is also in the billion, 1.03. The ACC is pretty close to that at 826 million, and then the Big 12 is 610 million. So the total revenue, this is from their, I understand the tax forms. That's a unbelievable amount of money. Frankly, listen, I remember years ago when Coach Spurrier was coaching at Florida, in the SEC, said it was going to divide up $4 million per school. And Shane, at that point, everybody thought that was crazy, much less the money now.
It's ridiculous now. Ruse-Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ograinsurance.com to learn about their new city of Newberry location. Check them out, Ruse-Ogre. All right, Brent, the SEC meetings in Destin, what is the most important things that you've heard that have come out of there?
Well, I think the main thing is obviously is the question about what's going to happen with the playoffs. The Big Ten wants 24. The SEC doesn't want to go any further than 16, even though On3, the website had a poll of the SEC athletic directors, and they were anonymous, but the most of the ACC athletic directors wanted a 24-team playoff. One of them wanted a 20-team. 4 of them wanted a 16-team playoff too. So now the deadline for this is December the 1st. If they don't make any decision, it will just stay at 12, which is what we've got it now. So that's I think that's one of the main things that people thought that the SEC may make a decision, but that's not going to happen. And the commissioners will meet again in June. But again, they need to get something done with this playoff situation, Shane, so they can move on to a lot of other issues they've got to deal with too.
Yeah, also the athletic directors in the SEC voted to get rid of the cupcake weekend.
Yeah, that we thought this was coming. Now, and what Shane's talking about is would be the weekend before the annual rivalry games, which usually is a cupcake, but now there will be an SEC game before that happens. So that's going to be your difference with this. So that's coming up in the next couple of years. And that's going to be a big change playing an SEC team instead of one of the weaker opponents during that time.
For sure. All right, Brent, let's go around the league. Alabama, we got some game time starts for Alabama.
Yeah, that has just come out with all the teams this week. We don't have all the TV schedules yet, but we do have what we have at this point. And boy, if you're an Alabama fan, be able to cool off before you go into the stadium. The They open the year with East Carolina. That game begins at noon on ABC, and then the following week, they've got a big game with Kentucky. The game is in Lexington. It's a 3:30 start on ABC. And then on September the 19th, another big game for Alabama because of what happened last year is Florida State. Remember last year the game was played in Tallahassee to open the season. Florida State won. This year the game is in Tuscaloosa, and that will be, as we said, another 3:30 SEC game. So, and by the way, Alabama only has 9 seniors on their team this year. They've got a big group of juniors, so that will be interesting.
What's going on with the Gators?
Some talk about John Summerall has talked about financial resources not being on the same level as some of the other SEC teams, so they're doing what they can to get that going. Florida is going to be starting the season against Florida Atlantic. Kickoff time at 7:45. And then the following week, the Campbell Camels come in with a 5:30 Eastern time kickoff with that too. And then a big game with Auburn that will be coming up early on. That will be a 7 o'clock game at Jordan-Hare. Shane, as far as for Gator fans, early on in September, right, and this is just right now, the Campbell game is the earliest start, and that will be at 5:30. So that will, I know some people like night games, some people don't, but for the heat, that will help a little bit.
Yeah, I was somewhat disappointed in the Auburn kickoff time. I was hoping we'd play the noon game or 3:30 game, but we're going to be at night at Jordan-Hare. So, Cliff on the Titan Moore text line says, do you think the UF FSU game will get moved to a different week in the season? I guess he's referring to in the future. No, they're not going to change rivalry weekend around the country. You don't think so, do you, Brent?
No, I don't. I think rivalry weekend would stay where it is in this point. So now, again, the thing that we've said so far is the game before rivalry weekend is what we think is going to change, and that's going to be an SEC game. Obviously, going from 8 SEC games to 9. But Shane, to your point, no, I don't think rivalry games are going to change as far as being at the end of the season.
No. Arkansas's athletic director ain't very happy.
No, he's not at all. Arkansas, that's under Yurachek, not thrilled about the opening of the season with that. What he's talking about is the situation with the game in week 2 with Utah, and then the Georgia game in week 3. What he's talking about is the Arkansas goes to Utah. Obviously, the game being played it's going to be at 10:15 Eastern time is when it kicks off. Obviously, we know the time change there. And then they come back the following week and host Georgia at noon. So he is not happy with the kickoff times. But, when you go on the road and you play a team, that's part of it. That's what's going to be happening also, too. So that he's not happy about it. But unfortunately, that's not going to change.
No, it's not. What's the newest drama or news out of Baton Rouge?
Yeah, they're finally calming down a little bit. They did, and people have not heard this. LSU has hired Ed Orgeron. Yes, that Ed Orgeron on the staff. He led LSU to the national title in 2019. Orgeron and Lane Kiffin have had a relationship for a while. They're good friends. So no real surprise with this. And Ed Orgeron is a good recruiter. There's no question about that. I thought the biggest thing come out of LSU over the last few days is Sam Levitt, the quarterback transfer, is going to be ready for the season. He had a foot injury, and Jane can tell us how difficult that is. But they clocked him recently at running 21 miles an hour. But the main thing is, all they care about is, will he be ready for the season? And he will. Whit Weeks, their star linebacker, has been cleared, and he's ready to go too. So two big as far as additions. The guys who were hurt, they're now either healthy or very close to being healthy.
Oklahoma, most people or publications have them as the third best team in the SEC right now, behind Georgia and Texas. What's going on in Norman?
Yeah, TV times also for Oklahoma and New Mexico in their Week 3 game will kick off at 7:30. Also, they play New Mexico, and then obviously the big game for them is Oklahoma. It plays Michigan, and that's going to be a noon kickoff on Fox on September the 12th. So that should be pretty toasty too, to say the least. But that will certainly be one of the bigger games. A lot of people think Oklahoma will be better than they were last year. Quarterback John Mateer comes back, so that will be interesting too. So, and again, Oklahoma's defense last year very good. Obviously, they lost Alabama in the playoff game, but with Mateer coming back and being healthy, again, expectations were higher for the Sooners.
Don't let love bugs damage your car. Gallo Car Wash is your get rid of love bugs headquarters. And with a monthly membership, you can stop by Gallo Car Wash daily. That's what I do. I go there multiple times. They do a great job. Tennessee Vols, Brent, I didn't realize they have a little home and home, I believe, with Georgia Tech. And so they'll be heading to Atlanta to face them this year. Yeah,
that's really one of the bigger games of the year, frankly. And Georgia Tech was a good team last year. Now I know some of those folks have moved on, obviously, to Florida, but at the same time, this is going to be a really good game. And by the way, the game it will be in Atlanta, and it will be at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Is where it's going to be. Some people thought that might be the Georgia Dome, but that is not the case. That will be in Bobby Dodd Stadium with that one. Tech 9-4, number 24 last year. So they have done a good job, and frankly, Shane, that this on that weekend, this will be one of the bigger games in the country.
I agree with that. What's going on with the Texas Longhorns?
Texas, they've got their game set now. They begin the season with Texas State. That's not real exciting. Being stretch of the imagination. UTSA is also another game that they will be playing too. So, look, for some of these teams, you just get these games early on. You get them out of the way. They're state of Texas games. So that will certainly help their opponent get a little bit of money in the coffers too. But again, as we mentioned earlier from Athlon Magazine, a lot of people think and are looking for Manning back at quarterback and Texas to be a top 5 team. People think Georgia is going to win, but Texas will be maybe number 2. So we'll watch and see where that goes. And again, we can't forget Texas does play Ohio State in week 2, not week 1, but in week 2 on September the 12th. That will be a 7:30 kickoff on ABC. So, Shane, to put it mildly, that will be the game of the week on September the 12th.
Well, what can you tell us about the Florida State Seminoles?
Yeah, their TV times have been announced too. They play New Mexico State at home on August the 29th. So this is one of the early games. I thought this was interesting. I'm sure there haven't been very many FSU games on the CW, but that's who's going to be televising that game, by the way. We'll have more information on that as it goes. Florida State goes to Tuscaloosa. They will play Alabama on September the 19th. That, as we said earlier, is the 3:30 kickoff on ABC. FSU won that game last year, so that's going to be interesting too. FSU plays a Friday night game as they go to Louisville, so that will be interesting to be able to see. They've got a game. They're going to Pitt on Friday, November the 13th. So FSU's got some different games. Remember, they play Monday night against SMU on that September weekend, opening the season basically for a lot of teams. And then they play some other Friday night games. So that's if you're an FSU fan, get ready for some non-Saturday games, shall we say.
What's going on down in Coral Gables with the Canes?
Well, a lot of excitement, as you can imagine. Miami's certainly a top 10 team with what they've got. They think they've got one of the better linebacker groups in the nation, and they very well may do. A lot of attention on Darian Mensah, who transfers from Duke to Miami. Malachi Tony also comes back. People will probably remember him. He had 1,200 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns last year. The Miami's got to replace 4 starters on the offensive line, so that will be a challenge for them also, and they've got work to do certainly on defense. Most of their secondary comes back, so that will be good for them. So, Shane, as much publicity as we've seen in years right now, that's happening over the last few months with the Canes.
Ray, got any nuggets?
Yeah, we've also always got nuggets. Texas A&M, their first 3 games have been announced. They will host Missouri State to open the season. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff on ESPN. With that, A&M under Mike Elko has done well starting the season. They're 5-1. Again, to be honest, they haven't played a lot of really good teams, but that's kind of how that works along that line too. So we've got one more day of the SEC in Destin, and I believe the presidents actually come in today. So. People may want to be listening later on and watching to see what comes of that. But again, there will be no decisions made this week in the SEC as far as a lot of the first 3 games are set, but people really want to know what's going to happen with the playoffs. We don't know that yet. The Big Ten wants to go to 24. The SEC wants to cap it at probably 16, or we may end up staying at 12. So right now, Shane, we just don't know, do we?
We don't, Brent, but good stuff as always. And we'll talk to you next week, my man. Have a good weekend.
Good. Look forward to it, bud. Take care.
Yep, that is our Heisman Trophy voter and college football analyst, Brent Beaird, joins us on the Titan Moore Hotline. UF grad Michael Schneider, a real estate attorney, can help you save thousands of dollars in real estate commissions by helping you sell your home or land by owner without a broker. Michael Schneider, PLLC, serves the entire state of Florida. Contact Michael at MASchneiderPLLC.com. Quick time out. Come back. Man with JC takes over. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics, Michael Schneider PLLC, Florida Legends Gala and Experience, Money Metals, Sensei Asian Bistro. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Florida Cracker Oyster, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Rue's Ogra State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, International Gold and Diamond, Advocare, and MGA&A Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook or YouTube. Listen to podcasts wherever, on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, be sure to call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Recent price spikes in groceries, healthcare, gasoline, steel, and lumber tell the story of inflation. As the reality of all this inflation sinks in, investors will be acting quickly to diversify and protect themselves, their families, and their assets. Low transaction costs are one reason Investopedia calls Money Metals the best dealer in America. Don't waste any more time. Start protecting your savings today with physical precious metals at moneymetals.com/go.
When the late, great Charlie Daniels would need a place for jewelry he could trust, he turned to International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniels, and I live in Tennessee, but when I get ready to do something serious about jewelry or a gift for my wife or somebody, I always get in touch with the folks at International Gold and Diamond Exchange here in Gainesville. There's a lot of reasons for that. One reason is they sell nothing but the best.
Find out what Charlie was talking about for yourself at International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange at 3440 West University Avenue and online at igdwex.com.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill. 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
By now, you heard about the Florida Legends Experience and Gala, featuring Gator Heisman greats Tim Tebow, Danny Warfel, and Steve Spurrier, all in one place at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Imagine catching a pass or taking a handoff from a Heisman winner, all while supporting Isaiah 117 to help provide safe, loving homes for children in need. Then enjoy an unforgettable evening at the Gala, filled with great food and lasting memories. Don't miss this historic event. Find out how you and your business can get involved at fllegends.com. That's fllegends.com.
Minutes, second part of today's Matthews in the Morning, and I've got a lot to get to, folks. We've got a lot to get to this Thursday. There's a lot happening. We've got NCAA baseball about to start with regional baseball. I love. I think what you're going to enjoy hearing in terms of what the Florida Gators are being priced at. I love the PGA this weekend in Colonial. We'll talk about that. We've got the NBA Game 6, San Antonio and Oklahoma City tonight. We'll break that down with Zach Rothrock. We've also got National Hockey League playoffs going on between Carolina and Montreal last night. Vegas has won the Western Conference sweeping Colorado, so we're not going to talk much about that because Las Vegas is already in the Stanley Cup Finals. So it's good to have you. Let's go ahead, and I'll try to get some of your tweets on YouTube or some of your messages on YouTube and Facebook Live and so on and so forth. Last night in baseball, though, I got to mention this. This is where I want to start. Christopher Sanchez pitches for the Philadelphia Phillies. He's a left-handed pitcher. He is out of his mind pitching well right now. He's pitching so good that last night he beat the San Diego Padres. In 7 innings, he allowed 6 hits, 9 strikeouts, 0 walks. Christopher Sanchez has thrown 44 2/3 scoreless innings. He has eclipsed Grover Cleveland's record of 41 innings pitched without a run, consecutive scoreless innings, 44 2/3. Right now, Christopher Sanchez, 5-2, 1.62 going into last night's game. He's now 6-2, but going into last night's game, he had a 1.62 ERA. He allowed 19 hits in 32 innings, 36 strikeouts, only 3 walks, and he was 3-0 in May. Now he's 4-0 in the month of May. Cy Young number on Christopher Sanchez is still plus money at 150. If this continues through June and July, he is going to be your National League Cy Young Award winner. I know you've got Jacob Mizorowski for the Brewers. You've got Paul Skeens for the Pirates. You've got Ohtani for the Dodgers. All of these guys give you better numbers. Mizorowski plus 275 on the Cy Young Award. Paul Skeens plus 450. That's 4.5 to 1. And Ohtani is 6 to 1. But you can get Christopher Sanchez still at 150, plus 150. That's $1.50 for every dollar you bet. And I'm telling you right now, if this guy keeps going with these scoreless innings, he is a lock for the National League Cy Young. That brings me to tonight's game between the Twins, or actually it's this afternoon, a very light schedule in Major League Baseball. But one game I'm looking at very hard right now is where I think you could go for the American League Cy Young Award win. And that would be a guy named Davis Martin. Davis Martin is 7-1 with a 2.04 ERA in 10 starts. He's pitching for the White Sox today against Minnesota. He's $1.50 favored. You can get the White Sox on the run line at minus 1.5 at plus 135, but you are getting 40 to 1 on him in the Cy Young. And to compare that to the Cy Young Award leading candidate right now in the American League, you're looking at a guy named Cam Schlittler for the New York Yankees, who's even money. There's just no value right there. You know, one tweak of the arm, 30-day DL, anything like that takes him completely away. But this Davis Martin is giving you 40 to 1. He's 7-1. He's pitching for the White Sox. I like him today, so take a look at that. More importantly for us around here is the NCAA Regional Baseball Tournament getting started. We've got regional sites, 16 regional sites. We've got 8 top 8 seeds. 8 top 8 seeds, that makes sense. The Florida Gators are seeded 8th in the tournament. That means, of course, that if they win their regional, they would then stay home and play the Super Regional against most likely, I think, Southern Miss. Southern Miss coming out of Hattiesburg as the 9 seed. They would come to Gainesville if they win at home in their regional, which they are favored to do. The Gators, I looked at these lines and I looked at the seedings of all the teams, and you're still getting over 22 to 1 on the Fighting Gators. A couple of weeks ago, they were 45 to 1. So they've come down almost 50% basically on their odds, but you can still get over 22 to 1 on the Gators to win the College World Series. You can get the Gators to make the College World Series at just over even money. Just to win the Super Regional, to get to the College World Series, you're getting 10 cents, $1.10. But to win it, 22.5 to 1. So who are the favorites? That's UCLA and Georgia Tech at 5 to 1. You've got Georgia at 8 to 1. You've got North Carolina at 8 to 1. Texas and Auburn 11 to 1. Texas A&M 13 to 1. And there's Florida right there, 22.50, 22.5 to 1 to win the College World Series. I went ahead and did it. I went ahead and pulled the trigger on that. I've got 2 pitchers right now who are blowing it at triple digits, Aiden King and Liam Peterson. I've got guys in the middle of the order hitting the ball all over the ballpark. I've got home ice, home field advantage in Gainesville. Weather permitting, of course, they're going to have to get through that just like everyone else who's playing here. But really, to get to Omaha, the Gators get to win home games. If they can win home games with that pitching and that hitting, and it's a hitter-friendly ballpark, you're going to Omaha. So at 22.5 to 1, you will not see that number. You will not even come close to that number if the Gators win the regional. And certainly if they win the Super Regional, you won't come close to that number. So get it now. That's my best advice. Go ahead and get the number, because it's going to go shorter if the Gators win. I also think Texas A&M at 13 to 1 is a pretty good number. They can hit. Offensively, they're as good as anybody in the country if they hit the ball. The regional numbers are not quite as good, and some of these regional numbers it's obvious why they're not as good. You know, you've got these home teams like Georgia and Auburn and Georgia Tech. There's no value there in laying these big numbers. Texas is minus 750. There's really no value there. But I did see in Eugene, Oregon, the Oregon Ducks. The Oregon Ducks really gave UCLA, the overall number 1 seed, a very difficult time in the Big Ten tournament and came within one run of winning it. I think the Oregon Ducks at home playing against Oregon State in that regional in Eugene, if they win that regional, I think they will travel. They will travel because they're not a top 8 seed. But if you want to look at a team right now that's playing good baseball and you would get some pretty good long numbers, take a look at the Oregon Ducks. I really think they're a team to keep your eye on. To win the World Series, you're getting 60-1 on the Oregon Ducks. I may just pull the trigger on $10 and try to win $600 if that were to happen and Florida didn't win it. But I'm looking for value here. Oregon State's another good team. They will be in that Eugene regional. They're 60-1. And I think the Arkansas Razorbacks, if they ever can figure out how to get through the postseason, at 60-1, it's almost too good to pass up. They will be on the road. They're playing at Kansas. If they win that regional in Lawrence, Kansas, I'm not sure exactly where they will go. I don't have the bracket in front of me because I don't know who's going to win. But I do think at 60-1, you could maybe take a flyer at Arkansas. You certainly wouldn't get that number if they win the regional in Lawrence, Kansas, who is your Big 12 champion. So honestly, I think you've got value with the Ducks. I think you've got value with the Florida Gators, certainly to win it all in the College World Series. I think the team that's hitting the ball right now that is just so scary is Georgia Tech. That's another team. You're getting them at 5-1. But the odds on Hard Rock are so much better than they are on DraftKings right now. I don't think Hard Rock is caught up to what's going on in college baseball because the Gators on DraftKings they're 19-1. They're 22.5-1 on Hard Rock. Auburn is 9-1. They're 11-1 on Hard Rock. You've got Georgia Tech at 4-1. They're 5-1 on Hard Rock. You've got UCLA at 4-1. They're 5-1 on Hard Rock. So take a look through that college baseball futures segment there on Hard Rock and get some good numbers on these baseball teams and try to win some money. You can go 1-4. You can go 1-3, and with the odds, still make a pretty good hefty sum of money, especially if somebody like Florida can break through and win this thing at 22.5-1. You can bet 5 teams to win the College World Series and basically cover every other bet you lose because that one winning ticket is going to give you those odds to carry you above and beyond what you laid to bet, what your cost was. So I think Florida presents great value at 22.5-1. That's college baseball. It's time to bring in college basketball and college basketball. It's time to bring in Zach Rothrock in the NBA. The NBA tonight.
Here we go, man.
Game 6. Here we go. I know you've been waiting for this. Game 6 between Oklahoma City and San Antonio, but I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care what anybody says. The New York Knicks are absolutely live to win this. I know everybody's on the West. Everybody thinks it's all SGA, it's all Wemby, it's all this, it's all that. You guys are forgetting about Bridges, Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, and the great Jalen Brunson. The New York Knicks, I took them 3 weeks ago at 8-1. The New York Knicks are 2-1 right now to win the NBA championship. You just got to know if this team is playing well, you got to try to get the number when you can and just hold on to it. Their point differential is ridiculous, the Knicks. Their point differential is ridiculous. But tonight it's about the Western Conference to see who's going to play those Knickerbockers. And I tell you right now, Oklahoma City with all the flopping with SGA, I can't watch it. I just can't watch it. Let's take a shot and fall on our ass and hope to get a foul. How many free throw attempts does this guy have? 30 per game? It's unbelievable. He's shooting over 20 free throws a game. Something like that.
About 20, yeah. I think it was 16 for 17 last game.
The whistles are blowing nuts. It's hard for me to deal. I do think the totals have been great in this game. I think the unders come in one time. So in 5 games, you've gone over. So tonight, listen, Vegas has caught up to that. It's 220.5. I think San Antonio forces game 7. What do you think?
Yeah, the general consensus is that it will go 7 games. That's how people feel, and if that's going to be the case, then San Antonio will win tonight. It is in San Antonio, where in this series in particular, the role players have been playing better in the home games, and so it feels like Wemby has definitely been more aggressive at home for one reason or another. I've been riding with the Spurs. I'm not going to stop riding with the Spurs. Before we get too far removed from the topic, though, I do want to mention you talked about how the odds were different on DraftKings and Hard Rock. And I think that happens even more the more niche the sport is that you're looking at. So you talked about that was with college baseball. And I know that's really big for us regionally, but college baseball, by and large, it's not a very large sport to follow. So if you get into betting something like that, you definitely do need to take advantage of looking at different sports books and looking at different odds, because they probably won't be as consistent as we see with the NFL and the NBA. The NFL and the NBA pretty much the same across the board, across all sites. But something like that, college baseball, you probably could actually get an edge in looking and shopping around and finding better odds.
Well, and I think that's absolutely true. Here in Florida, though, you've got one outlet.
Yeah, one big one.
So yeah, that's it. And so you've got to go with what you got to go with. Player props, SGA over 30.5. You think that's good? I tend to think it's going under that number.
Yeah, I'd be hard to take the under, because, like you say, he's going to get to the free throw line 16, 17 times, and so that's half the points right there.
Right. Well,
given that it is on the road, if you're going to do the under, this would be one of the times to do it.
Well, maybe, yeah, and he is on the road tonight, so I don't know what the whistle is going to be like. Wemby, 27.5 points. Now, he's only 3 out of the last 10 games going over that number, but if the Spurs cover 3.5, you got to think he's going to score over 27.5. I don't see how they win if he doesn't. So
yeah, I think he's.
But he's only 30%. He's only 30% in the last 10 games. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll take a lot more shots closer to the basket and in the paint. Last game he was hanging out at the beyond the 3-point line and just chucking them up. And if those happen to go in, that's a great day. But I mean, they just didn't go in, and so therefore I think he'll look to get better shots. MSRK on YouTube says that Wemby played like he's out of gas and worn out. Absolutely, he has. He's not used to playing. I think he averaged about 23 minutes a game in the regular season. So his minutes are going up, their games played are going up, and yeah, I mean, it is taking its toll on his body, but I still like the Spurs to win this Game 6.
Okay, so we're both in agreement on a Game 7. To win the NBA championship, the Spurs are 6-1. So that's better than New York at 2-1, and that's, of course, Oklahoma City is -160. But I like the Knicks. I love the ticket I have in pocket at 8-1. Let's go to YouTube and take a look at some of these comments. Let's see here. We've got MSRK loves Paul Skeens. He says he's been lit up lately. I didn't catch that. I don't know when. Did he get lit up the last game?
I think he.
I'm wearing a Pirates hat.
Yeah, I think he played against the Cubs, and he definitely gave up a leadoff home run, and I think a couple other runs. So yeah, it hasn't been exactly perfect in the past.
Well, again, that just makes my Christopher Sanchez. I think my future on him even better at +150. I typically would never only get less than 2-1 odds on something that's 6 months out or 5 months out. I mean, you get no value at all. Letting your money just be held there for that long, but you're not going to get a positive number on him if he keeps going like this. It's going to go negative. 31 Ember. There's no value in this segment. Dude is a financial advisor and is giving gambling advice. Well, I mean, I'm just telling you what I think. You don't have to take it. You can always fade it there, 31 Ember. You can always go the opposite way, my man.
There's value in that.
Here's some gambling advice. Don't gamble. Well, I appreciate you watching, my brother, but this is what we're going to do for this 30 minutes, whether you like it or not. And I'm doing the best I can, but he does hate everything I say. So one way you can take that is just agree with him and go the opposite. Just take the opposite of what I say. Take the Twins today against the White Sox if you don't like that. Take somebody against Knicks if you don't like that. He's saying don't gamble, but he's watching. Maybe he'll turn it off. Maybe he won't. But I think there is some interest in this because that's why we're doing it. And I certainly believe that there is some value with the Hard Rock because there is no other legal outlet to do this kind of thing or this activity. So that is the NBA for you right there. Anything else to add on that? Because really, we're just waiting. The Knicks are sitting there on the sideline waiting for the winner to come out of the West.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to say that your pick on the Knicks, I know you mainly did it just because the numbers and the data and how you got the good odds on it. But I mean, if the Knicks were to win, as you say, things have been shaping up. I mean, beautifully. They blew out the Cavs, handled them very easily, and now they just get to sit back and rest while the Spurs and the Thunder beat each other up. I believe Game 1 starts June 3rd, regardless of when this series ends. So if this series goes 7 games. they're going to be limping into it, whereas the Knicks are going to be as well rested as they've been in months. I still think the West is far superior in terms of talent. But I mean, it's not like the Knicks are a bunch of slouches. They can score a lot of points.
Oh my
God! They got Karl-Anthony Towns to stretch the floor. And as you mentioned, they do got all the role players. So I mean, they do have a championship level team. And so I do get why you like betting the longer odds there.
Well, and I'm just looking at the point differential in their games, bro. I mean, what they did to Atlanta, what they did to the Sixers, the way they Cleveland gave up. Cleveland gave up after game 2. They went back home, and you would have thought, especially after that Detroit series when they were down 2 games, went back home and got back into the series. They didn't even put up a fight at home. The Knicks just have a way of making it worse and worse as it goes. And I think right now their point differential is so crazy good. I don't think that's going to be the case against one of these Western Conference teams, which are better than all these Eastern Conference teams the Knicks have played. But I think the way the Knicks are playing, they feel like they can beat anybody. And at 8-1, I'm loving that. And at 2-1 right now, it probably presents a little bit better value than the other ones. Now, San Antonio is 6-1. If they win tonight, that number goes crashing down. So I don't know if you're going to get anything better than 6-1. So if you really love the Spurs, you think they can come back and win 2 games against OKC? I don't see them winning in OKC, but they have won 1 game in OKC.
Yeah,
so we'll see if
I
they
think that's
can pull
where it
off
stops for the Spurs. At
I
this
think
point, I see them
stops.
losing the game 7. I do.
We've got let's see. We've got the PGA Colonial this week in Fort Worth. This is the Charles Schwab tournament, the Charles Schwab shootout. The lowest number is Ludwig Oberg at 7.5-1. The golfers I have taken on the Peachland Dental Picks Contest, as well as who I'm going to take this weekend, include Ricky Fowler at 20-1 and JJ Spahn at 25-1. Russell Henley goes at 17.5-1, as does Justin Thomas. There's no Scotty. There's no Jordan Spieth. Putting is going to be certainly at a premium on this golf course. It makes it predictive when you're looking at this. Who are the best putters? How are they scrambling around the greens? These are small greens at Colonial. So you want somebody who's accurate. You want somebody who's going to have birdie putts, whether he makes them or not. But you're going to have some rough as well. There's a 2.5-inch Bermuda rough cut on the golf course, which makes it a little bit more challenging. Justin Thomas, top 5 plus 450. Top 10 plus 240, top 20 plus 110. I like his game. I think he's putting great. I think he's a player you can spread a couple bucks out on. JJ Spahn, tied for 6th last year in this tournament. He's good in signature events this year. I think JJ Spahn's also a guy you might want to take a look at. Sung J M 40-1, Alex Smalley 30-1, and Tony Finau 50-1 if you want to go long on some players before the tournament starts. The best way and the easiest way I have found in golf to win money on this is to wait until the weekend and look at the leaderboard and quit and not be so speculative early on. Of course, when you're speculative early on, that's when you get the longest numbers. And sometimes you'll get lucky. Last week, I got lucky with Wyndham Clark. I took him on Thursday, and he won the tournament. That actually did happen. I have the ticket. That was cashed on Wyndham Clark, but I also lost on 4 other guys. But the number on Wyndham Clark was so good, it paid for everything. So that was a good weekend for me. This week, I see Ricky Fowler, Justin Thomas, Russell Henley, and JJ Spahn as your best values. Doesn't mean they're going to win. I think Bob McIntyre at 25-1 is okay. I would prefer him on a top 10 or top 20 bet. But I really do believe that the best way to look at this and the best way to play golf is to wait until the weekend, pick some golfers, try to get a double-digit number on a guy who may be 1 or 2 strokes out on Saturday or Sunday and roll with it and hope he pulls it through for you. Those are some pretty long odds you can get on golf still on the weekend, but at least you're going to cut down the field and cut down the choices you have so that you don't have so much dispersion and just try to find somebody and just like finding a needle in a haystack. You have a much better opportunity, I think, on the weekends. Hockey last night, Carolina, unbelievable forecheck. They beat Montreal 4-0 last night. The shots on goal differential is over 3-1 with Carolina. They are dominating this series after that first game. And quite honestly, they're just much better than Montreal. These unders have come in on every game except one in the 4 games that have been played. They're up 3-1 in the series. They can close it out tomorrow night in Carolina, in Raleigh. They've only won, let's see, I think they've already doubled the number of wins that they've had in the Eastern Conference Finals the last 20 years. So this is a much different team they have in Raleigh. And I certainly think that this is a team that could win the Stanley Cup, but they're going to be facing a Vegas team that's scorching hot right now, a team that shut out at Raleigh, really just closed out the Colorado Avalanche in a shocking fashion, a 4-0 sweep, and really did it with great goaltending. And one way you can play this, as well as just taking the team to win the Stanley Cup, like Vegas at plus 130 or Carolina at minus 145, is to look at the Conn Smythe numbers. Mitch Marner plus 175, Carter Hart, the goalie for the Vegas Golden Knights, at 20-1 would be a play for me on the Conn Smythe. That's basically the most valuable player award. For the Carolina side, their goalie, Freddie Anderson, is only plus 250. So you get 10-1 odds, 10-1 differential on Carter Hart for the Vegas Golden Knights. Much better value there. Taylor Hall plus 650, Logan Stankoven plus 850, Ehlers, Seth Jarvis, and Sebastian Aho, all 25, 30, and 40-1 respectively for the Carolina Hurricanes. And Rod Brindamore, their head coach, I think has gotten really close and has this team playing the way he wants it to play. Unbelievable forecheck, great defense. Montreal's shots on goal are just not there. There's a huge differential in this series. This series ends in 5. Carolina's going to win game 5. You have to give Montreal a lot of credit. Winning 2 7-game series against Tampa Bay and against the Buffalo Sabres. They played great, but I think they've just run out of gas and run out of luck against a team that is just superior on the defensive side. So I am sitting on a Vegas ticket. So I like Vegas. So again, let's go back and review here before we check out. MSRK real quick. Let me get through him. You right. Let's see. Wemby plays like he's out of gas and worn out. Very possible. Vegas and Torts in hockey, do they win it all? I think so. I think Carolina is great, though. I think Carolina is very good. It's going to be a fantastic finals. And then MSRK wants to know about Robert McIntyre. He's 25-1. I mean, if you want to get a good number on him, do it now. If he wins this, that number's going to crash. And if you really like him and he's in the mix in the top 5 or top 10, that's a good number to take right now, top 5 or top 10. But I think on the weekend, you could still probably get a double-digit number on him, 10-1, 11-1, 12-1 if he's in the top 5, top 10, top 20. So hopefully nobody runs away from the field, and you've got a real opportunity to bet it on the weekend. So that's probably how I would look at Robert McIntyre.
Yeah,
anything you want to add, Zach?
I was looking at golf, and I just want to know if you can give me some insight as to why. So basically, everybody that's got a golfing model this week likes Ludwig Aberg, and he's also at a plus 750 to win the whole thing, whereas the second closest, they're at 1750, Russell Henley. So what's the deal with that? Does the course just fit his game? Honestly, I just have no idea why his odds are so much better than everyone else's and why everyone likes him so much.
He hits it low and accurate. He's not long. This is a short course, comparatively speaking.
I gotcha.
He keeps the ball in the fairway, and that's, again, with 2.5-inch Bermuda rough. I think that's a premium. You're getting almost 20-1 on him right now. Maybe sprinkle a few bucks on him now and then just see how it goes on the weekend and pile on if he's in the top 5 or top 10. But he is a guy that's always there. It just doesn't seem to cross the finish line in many cases. He has won on tour. He has won. I think he's won at Bay Hill. I think he's won some tournaments, but he's not one of your consistent winners, but he's always lurking around. And sometime there may come a time when you get really lucky with him because he's still just hanging around there.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it was just weird to me that he was, less than half the odds than anyone else in the entire field. And basically every betting site just has this guy finishing with at least a top 10 finish, etc. So I just know that Shane picks him literally every week on his Peachland Dental pick.
He does. Shane loves Ludwig also. He's all over Ludwig. Ludwig just hasn't figured out how to finish. I don't think Ludwig knows how to finish. He has had the lead in the final round a couple times this year and just absolutely crumped. So I just can't do it until I see it with him. Maybe if he's lurking around and a couple strokes out on the weekend and you get some really good number on him, he may be able to pull through and get that elusive win. Justin Thomas, I really like in this tournament if he keeps the driver accurate, because his putting is outstanding, and I think putting comes at a premium on this particular layout. And putting with small greens, if you've got a guy who's hot, it's much more predictive to see if you can get a top 5 or top 10 cash out on these tickets. So golf is tough. That's why I like to wait until the weekend. But let me recap. The play of my day today is Chris Sanchez for the National League Cy Young. Go ahead and look at that. Look at the White Sox today with this guy, Davis Martin. He's 7-1. He's 7-1 with the White Sox. He's got a 2.04 ERA. He is 7-1 in 10 starts for the Chicago White Sox, and he is 40-1 on this day in May to win the American League Cy Young. I think you got to look at that. And then in college baseball, the Florida Gators present the best value. I'm not saying that because I'm sitting in Gainesville. They are 22.5 to 1 on Hard Rock. They are 19 to 1 on DraftKings. So there is a $3 differential between DraftKings, which is probably the largest bookmaker, and Hard Rock, which is limited to about 6 or 7 states and the only provider in the state of Florida. But Florida with Aiden King and Liam Peterson, I think that gives them such an advantage in a tournament format where you have a regional, a double elimination regional, and then you try to just win 2 out of 3 games in a super regional a week later. And if you want to hedge that, Southern Miss will likely win their regional, which would mean Southern Miss would come to Florida should Florida win its regional. And to make the College World Series right now, you can get Southern Miss at 3-1. So that would be your hedge if chalk holds. To win the College World Series, Southern Miss is 50-1. I don't see that happening. But I do see Oregon as a team, as a long shot, at 60-1 as a potential live winner of the College World Series. All right, hope that helps out a little bit. Good luck with your bets tonight. I'll be back with Shane tomorrow at 8 o'clock on Matthews in the Morning. Have a good night, everybody, and good luck with your bets.